There are moments in history
It might be helpful if I begin by explaining how the committee stage will proceed. I must therefore now put...
Thank you. The NDC has done more for the people.
When silence becomes betrayal.
and today it's time to speak. A British journalist, Mat Whatley, in an early November 2025 piece of opinion for The Telegraph titled, "Why is Britain funding Ghana's leftist Russian sympathizing government?" He argued that the UK should reconsider its financial support due to the allegations of an authoritarian drift and the persecution of political rivals under Mahama's administration. Wait a minute. Did he call Ghana's government leftist, Russian, sympathizing, and corrupt? But here is the question that every Ghanaian and every African must ask now.
Who gave Britain the moral right to lecture a sovereign nation again?
This isn't about one journalist. It is about the mindset of an empire that never ended. It just changed its accent. But see, tonight we trace the truth from London's editorial rooms to Accra's corridors of power to the beating heart of Africa's independence. And after a short research I did on Mat Whatley's article, here is what I discovered.
Arrogance dressed as journalism and colonialism reborn as commentary.
So hold on and please listen to this. This video is not with an intention to attack a personality or a group of people. It is for the purpose of education and criticizing an idea and an opinion, as this video is an analytical part of historical and geopolitical discussion. We seek to understand global power relations, not to create division. This is Inside Focus, and if this is the first time you're coming across my channel, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button, then like the video, share the video. Feel free to go to the comment section and let us know what you think about this very conversation. Also, follow us on all other social media networks, all at Inside Studios Network. But this is Inside Focus. Let's get into the video. So let's get down straight and start with Mat Whatley's claim, where in his article titled, "Why is Britain funding Ghana's leftist Russia sympathizing government?" Mat Whatley plays the old imperial tune that Africa must explain itself before Europe. He paints Ghana's government as pro-Russian and a socialist because President Mahama once studied in Moscow 3 decades ago. So by that logic, every Oxford graduate is a monarchist and every Harvard student a capitalist crusader. That is not journalism, that is intellectual laziness wrapped in colonial arrogance. But Whatley didn't stop there. He insinuated that Britain's restructuring of Ghana's $256 million debt was an act of mercy, as though Britain tossed coins to a beggar nation. In reality, as Ghanaia's Ministry of Finance and UK Export Finance both confirm, that debt restructuring was contractual adjustment, not a donation, part of Paris Club's international norms. It extends repayment by 15 years and unlocks UKEFs. When I say UKEF, the UKEF simply means UK Export Finance backed project in energy and infrastructure trade, not charity. But it looks as if in Whatley's Britain mindset, helping an African nation like Ghana is still seen as charity, not partnership. That right there is the arrogance of an empire. Now, what then is the reality? Whatley's words drip with concerns of democracy and rule of law. But his research, even if it could be called a research work, collapses under a single fact check. It is also interesting to know that he claims Ghana's Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokonu, was secretly dismissed, and that is false. She was lawfully removed under the Article 146 of Ghana's Constitution through a transparent process involving the President, the Council of State, and a 5-member committee.
There is no lawfare, there is only law.
But Whatley's handlers know that. They only want to create the illusion that Ghana is collapsing because
a strong, independent Africa challenges the colonial ego.
For 8 long years under the previous administration, Ghana suffered the kind of economic chaos that silenced British colonists. Banks collapsed, debt tripled from 122 billion Ghana cedis to over 600 billion Ghana cedis. Citizens queued for bread while politicians traded eco-bonds like family heirlooms. And I asked this simple question during those times.
Where was Mat Whatley then?
Not a word, not a whisper, silence until Ghana began to look east. And during those times when Ghana was wailing, where was Mat Whatley then? Not a word, not a whisper, silence until Ghana began to look for itself. Now,
Suddenly, Ghana becomes Russian sympathizer.
again, let me ask this simple question. If Ghana signs trade deals with China and Russia, it's dangerous. But if the UK does the same, it's strategic. What do we call that? Hypocrisy? So what becomes the bigger game here? Kwesi Pratt Jr., Ghana's veteran journalist, said it best in his response on X. Ghana is a sovereign nation. It owes no allegiance to any empire, past or present. And that's the truth. Ghana is not a British outpost. It is an African nation, independent, dignified, and capable of deciding its own foreign policy. The UK's media need to remember something. When Ghana votes, Britain does not count the ballots. So why this fury now? Because the world is shifting. The BRIC bloc is rising. The global south is asserting its voice. And Britain, like much of the West, cannot accept that Africans' loyalty is not for sale anymore. So then comes the new strategy: smear and pressure. Smear Ghana's government as pro-Russian. Pressure President John Dramani Mahama with threats of arrest or sanctions. Whisper to the IMF and frame our economic recovery as dependency. So you see, but here is the irony. When Ghana's former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta was under investigation for financial misconduct and Interpol notice, not one British outlet defended the rule of law. And now, suddenly, defending accountability is anti-West. If that isn't propaganda, then tell me what that is. Mat Whatley, if you are watching this part is for you. You call Ghana's leadership leftist, but what do you call Britain's House of Lords? Democracy? You speak of corruption, but what about the lobbying scandals and offshore accounts of your own ministers? You cry for justice, but where was your pen when Iraq was invaded on a lie? Hey Matt, who pays for your outrage? Was your article funded? And if so, by whom? Because no serious professional journalist writes such shallow propaganda unless the ink is paid for. You mistake Ghana's independence for rebellion. You mistake dignity for defiance. You mistake partnership for provocation. But here is the fact you cannot erase. Ghana is not ruled by Britain. Ghana answers only to her constitution and her people. So finally, let me say this. Britain may have left Ghana in 1957, but its mindset stayed behind, hunting our headlines and shadowing our progress. Mat Whatley's article is not journalism. It's the ghost of empire still trying to control the narrative from the grave. But here is the fact. Ghana will not kneel. Not to power, not to propaganda, not to the pompous ghost of empire hiding behind newspaper columns. Ghana owes Britain nothing but the truth. And the truth is this: the sun has long set on the British Empire, and this time it will not rise over Ghana again. So my final question now isn't whether the UK lies Ghana's choice. It's whether Ghana still needs their approval at all. And as for Mat Whatley, if he wants to study sovereignty, he should come to Ghana, not as a teacher, but as a student. This was Inside Focus. Thank you for joining me through this episode. Feel free to go to the comment section and let me know what you think about this. Subscribe, share, follow, and join the community. Let's expand. Let's grow.